doing, folks? It's happy Sunday. You'd be happy to know that I'm almost COVID-19 free. One more day. I took another test this morning, barely had anything showing up. So hopefully by tomorrow, I'll be good to go. So just trying to keep everybody safe out there. Going to start with an update on the tropics. Of course, we got Kiko out here, Hurricane Kiko. Not quite as impressive as before, but it's on a marginal sea surface temp regime right now, and it's a pretty small storm, and it's annular in structure, which means it doesn't have a lot of outer rain bands because it's in a marginally moist environment. And these storms tend to remain more stable and not fluctuate intensity as much as ones that aren't annular like this. They seem to occur more in the Eastern Pacific than tropical Atlantic for some reason, but um, pretty neat to look at. So if we look at briefly the track of Kiko right now, you can see where it started here, and it's now a Category 3 hurricane, and it's likely to weaken significantly before it reaches Hawaii. So this is the official forecast. Forecast to move to the north of Hawaii. I really don't know if it's going to be this strong when it gets up there, but likely to bring a lot of surf and potentially some heavy rain to the islands here because the low level circulation will probably pass over it and decouple from the mid and upper level circulation as it gets sheared apart up here. This is a track of model guidance. See, it's trended on different models, right? This is the super ensemble. The black line is the trend, and the different ensemble mean trends all runs, right? So the trends have been to the north. The final track of this intensity, you can see where it's at now, weakening, and we showed that on the other graphic. But all models agree it's going to weaken and eventually dissipate in the Central Pacific Ocean. Ships forecast. This is one of the intensity models based on max potential intensity. I don't know where this comes from, but wind shear is going to increase markedly and then decrease. I guess maybe because sea surface temps are going to increase back up here. However, it's likely not to be a threat to Hawaii, even if it does manage to stay together. And what I'll do next, I'm going to pull up an infrared satellite simulation of this storm and see what it's going to look like as it passes north of Hawaii. So here are the key messages for Hurricane Kiko as it moves towards Hawaiian Islands. See the latest track and tropical storm force wind speed probabilities down here. Expected to pass well to the northeast of Hawaii. However, swells will start impacting the east-facing beaches, and potential life-threatening rip currents are probably the biggest risk we're seeing right now, which there's some gusty winds, tropical storm force possible in the islands as it passes to the northwest, into the northeast, around between 8 a.m. Tuesday and 8 p.m. Tuesday. This is a closer look at the tropical storm force wind probabilities here. Low chance of tropical storm force winds impacting the islands. So, and this is a larger look at the most likely arrival of tropical storm force winds. Low chance of those winds hitting the islands, but if they do, between 8 p.m. Monday, 8 p.m. Tuesday. There's the cone. Does not show the size of the storm, but the storm is relatively small and will remain that way as far as its wind field. So in this case, I would say that, like I said, I think there's a pretty low chance of getting tropical storm force winds, although they may issue a tropical storm watch for the islands as it moves closer, depending on what happens here in the future of this storm. Again, key messages here. Um, this is one of the hurricane models representing the current structure of Kikos, a look on satellite. Excuse me. Move through time here. See there may be some convection that may try to make it to the islands, but you can see how far north the circulation gets. It gets getting ripped apart by an upper level low and drier air getting entrained into it. So sea surface temps along its path, excuse me, or have cooled and continue to do that, be marginal. Although it'll move back over warmer sea surface temps as it gets north of the islands. The upper level conditions will become a lot less favorable, as well as humidity levels and other things. So by the time it may try to reorganize or something, it's going to be ripped apart. And this is a representation of the total accumulated precip as indicated by one of the hurricane models and initialized at 959, which the hurricane hunters found at 960 millibars when it went out last night. Move through time here. See where the darker colors are, stays with the hurricane. And some rainfall, of course, on the islands, but um, unless we get some see some localized areas here that may get a little more rain on the islands, on the mountainous terrain, which isn't that unusual. But if we get some localized effects from terrain and stuff, that may be a problem. But as of right now, I don't see much of an issue here. But I will, in my next segment, go to the local Hawaii National Weather Service page and look at those graphics and present them to you here. Stay tuned. The National Weather Service page, and they don't have a lot to talk about right now with Kiko. So hopefully next day or so they might have some more graphics up, potential impacts with surf and stuff. Anyway, let's go over the what's not happening is there's no activity expected the next 7 days in the tropical Atlantic, which is, I would say, kind of unusual this time of year, given it's peak hurricane season, right? Um, so, a day ago we were talking about 91L. 2 days ago we thought it might be a hurricane somewhere out here, and now it's nothing. I don't think I've ever seen, honestly, that I remember it going from like 90% to 0% in such a short period of time and disappearing off the map. Quite a turnaround. And hats off to the AI model for sniffing this out from the beginning. I should have paid more attention to that. But anyway, this is the outlook, right? And what I wanted to show you too was This is the European Ensemble probability of tropical depression forming. Right. It, within 72 hours, it's given a 50% chance of something forming off the coast of Africa. But overall, not too bullish right now on much, really. You get into the darker colors here, you already the expectation more would happen, but it's really all along, maybe in the Gulf, along the Caribbean, and along in the East Pacific. When we look at the tropical storm probabilities here, it's loading. Um, pretty low, which is pretty unusual for this time of year. The Google AI model also agrees with this, although in DeepMind and European, there's let's see if the latest run is in here. No. Uh, anyway, little dots indicate maybe a disturbance, but no depression or wave, or maybe a wave or something, but maybe a low pressure off the east coast here, the western coast of the Mexico. But the models are not bullish on any low pressure forming. And if I was when I was looking at something I'll show you next here, maybe why. When you look at this here, um, this is a velocity potential anomaly, right? Chart, and the darker browns indicate um, brown indicates suppressed convection and divergence, and green is enhanced, right? When you talk about 9 August here, let's bring this back up. We start with this is for September a few days ago. You see where um, the green is here, velocity potential anomalies. This is a good indication of like the MJO phase being favorable and other factors, right? And when you have, excuse me, divergence aloft, that tends to enhance convection, and you get a better chance for storms to develop. And this is, I'm going to play this, and this is the future here. This is up till the 4th, and this is from the 4th on, right? So we step this forward. Oops. I know this is in the weeds a little bit. Hope they don't bore you to death. This is current. We still have some divergence here in the ITCZ. This is United States. Maybe hard to see, guys. Sorry. But you step this through, 8th of August. Divergence is still in the MDR. But then we get, as you move forward in time here, we get in a phase where, although it does show some convection here on north of the Caribbean, Lesser Antilles, we're in a phase where divergence, there's more convergence than divergence, right? And that's not as favorable in the tropics. And I looked on the models here, and that's this right here. I don't see any indication of anything developing, although the GFS does show something on it that wants to develop here. I'll show you that real quickly. Um, but I don't see any of the models indicating anything developing out here off the coast of Florida. Um, Quite an unfavorable pattern as far as diversion goes. So this is one possible reason why we see suppressed activity right now. Next thing I'm going to go over is continental U.S. weather, which is supposed to quiet down quite a bit and cool off for um, a good portion of the U.S. in the coming days. So here's the level water vapor loop of the continental U.S. You see a deep trough right here, digging down with some mid-level dry air, right? And that's what's driving a cold front here um, through a good part of the eastern U.S. The southeast is going to take a little bit longer for it to cool off a little bit, but it will. Of course, this time of year, we start to see cold fronts push through, but not usually this strong. So we look at lower level water vapor. We can really see where the drier area is, where the deep yellows are here. And the moisture being pushed offshore here and up to the north, up into Canada, with high pressure, um, low pressure here. High pressure is going to be building in, right? And then you have higher pressure here as well, with hot temps building in, pushing it this way. Um, Going back to the enhanced infrared long wave IR, gives a good indication where the most precip is, mostly offshore. So the current national radar, not a lot going on, except for in southern Texas, we have enhanced rainfall going on. And along the front range of the Rockies, getting some showers here along the periphery, that high pressure, and along the East Coast, of course, and Florida. Right. So we moving on to what the excessive rainfall outlook is going to be associated with this stuff, right? Marginal risk, South Texas, Florida, along the southeast coast of excessive rainfall today. Tomorrow in the central U.S., likely a short wave or disturbance moving in the flow, which is going to enhance rainfall on the northwest flow aloft, maybe an MCS moving to the south here, and then the southern into Florida, right? Day 3 into the northwest, Montana, Idaho, again into Florida along the southeast where that boundary is hanging out. Day 4, that's I haven't seen this in a while. Only the southern part of Florida, from central to South Florida. Day 5 pushes even further south. That's quite unusual this time of year. It goes to show you the drier air mass is going to be setting up for most of the continental U.S. That's reflected too in the severe weather outlook for today. General thunderstorms in the lighter green with a marginal risk just off the front range of the Rockies here. No tornado risk. Expected to be wind and hail only. Right. So day 2, hail and wind moves further south. That's where that disturbance may be going through the flow here, and that's probably what's driving this to its west on day 1. Wind and hail, categorical. Okay. Day 3, still general thunderstorms, but no heavy rainfall expected. The same in the south here with that. So when you look at total daily precip expectations here. So the first day along, this is today, South Texas, along the southeast coast into the northeast, along in west here like this. You can really see where the boundary is here and where that system is up here, right? So day two, it moves into the central U.S. Some more rain expected, but nothing extraordinary here. And you have a system moving to northwest as well, bringing some expected rainfall. But we're only talking maybe an inch or so. But right along the coast here and in the Florida is where the most precip is going to be setting up for the future here. So if we look at a multi-day outlook here, day 1 through 2, which is today and tomorrow, see where the heaviest rainfall is, of course, off the coast here in the Florida and South Texas. This is a total precip, right? So we'll just keep moving day 1 through 7. This is total precip, day 1 through 7. Highest totals, of course, are offshore here and along the eastern seaboard and along the southeast coast and in Florida and into the northwest. And a good portion of the Ohio Valley and deep south are going to not get much rain in the next week or so. Of course, nothing can last forever here, but we're in for a nice cool down here in the continental U.S. This is a 2 meter temperature anomaly, which is 2 meters off the ground, of course. You see where the warmest temps are in the northwest up here. And a cool push of air, right, for a good portion of the U.S. Okay, so move through time here. If we can get this going. All right. The anomalies, as you can see, the darker greens indicate more anomalous than normal temps. The negatives, of course, and blues, but then the reds and oranges are above normal this time of year. So you can see the trend here. Some cooler temps trending into the northwest, but up into Canada, into the upper part, mid and upper, the central plains and the northern high plains, and into the Midwest. And cooler temps. This is through. This is 12 September, so this is 5 days from now. Anomalies, right? Now the western part of the U.S. is getting in on the cooler temps, surrounded by warmer temps. Got this ring of fire going on right here. Which is likely a trough, high pressure here. Or maybe, and there could be increased precip and stuff too, but or it could be more like this. I'd have to look at the overall flow. Let's do that real quick instead of me like just trying to guess. The flow flattens out, stays. The trough develops in the east. Looks like a upper level low develops in the east. This isn't really a good representation. Let's do the 500 millibar heights here. Heights in 500 millibars gives us a good idea of where the cooler temps are. The lower numbers in the 500s equal cooler temperatures aloft, and the higher numbers equal warmer temperatures aloft, right? So you see the flow flattens out, but you have a trough building here off the west coast and then the east coast still, um, with a high pressure building in into the central part of the U.S. Looks like an upper level low is forecast to hang out here in the southeast, which will likely contribute to the cooler temps in the short term. Eventually, that lifts out. High pressure gives way to high pressure here. You can see this here. Right, with a low, high, and likely warmer temps building like we saw on the models. The other temperatures, right? So we just keep going through in time here. Looks like a wedge. It wants to maybe bring a wedge along the spine of the Appalachians here. We'll see if that really pans out. This is pretty far out here, but overall trending is for the high pressure in the east and trough in the west, which is different than it's been for a good period here. So we'll see if that pans out. The longer range precip and temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. This was issued 6 September, which is yesterday. Above normal temps for the like we talked about for the northern high plains, central high plains into the deep south. Below normal temps likely along the east coast and near normal between that into Florida, and below normal temps in the desert southwest, and then into Alaska, which is kind of nice. Precip chances are highest along the northwest coastline, of course. Below normal chances where the dark browns are here, and above normal chances into Florida. When you look at 8 to 14 day, those warmer temperatures moving to the east, as you can see here, below normal temps, likely along the coast here with rainfall probably and cloud cover contributing to that, and near normal between that. And the below normal precip chances and near normal precip chances are surrounding a good portion of the middle part of the country into the east coast. It looks like the desert southwest is going to be near normal in a little bit longer term, which above normal precip in the Florida Peninsula again, 2 days, 8 to 14. That's all I got for today, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this forecast. Like and subscribe if you are so compelled to do so. Hope you have a great day.